All right, guys, I'm really excited. I'm getting ready to have a cool conversation with Kevin McBeth. For those of you that don't know Kevin, he is with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. He conducts the In Unison Chorus, and he also conducts for Manchester UMC at the church. So, Kevin, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. With St. Louis Symphony, actually, I'm celebrating getting ready to celebrate my 10th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
With the orchestra, kind of on the second go round. I started with them a long time ago, and then left and did some other things, and have come back. So January will be my 10th anniversary as In Unison Chorus director, and the symphony has, as a part of the symphony family, you know, there's the main orchestra and the youth orchestra, and then there are two choruses, the symphony chorus and then the In Unison chorus. And so I've been with In Unison 10 years, and getting a chance to do some really cool stuff with them, with the orchestra, with all the groups there. So it's pretty fun. Nice.
What's been one of your favorite concerts you've done?
They're all pretty cool. I mean, I've done some great stuff with the In Unison chorus, and as you know, you've attended some of those, Gospel Christmas and Black History. We have a chance to intersect with some really, really cool artists. And so those are always exciting, you know, Jennifer Holliday and Jennifer Lewis, you know, who's from St. Louis. Her sister sings in the chorus. And so that's kind of a cool connection. So we've done some amazing things there, some big anniversary stuff and some commissions, brand new things that were written for the group. That we really like, but probably a couple of highlights for me, of course, as you know, the Boyz II Men concert was pretty ridiculous, and it's one of the few times that I've been on stage and the audience has been so loud that there were times that you couldn't hear the orchestra because the women were. I mean, it was just out of control. So
it was such a cool concert because it was such an artistic side of them that I don't know that people were even prepared to see that. And
right.
They showcased all this, that they took you on this cool journey of the show. And it was you were in it. It was exciting. It was so cool.
Yeah, I think people really kind of lost their minds because of what you said. You know, they weren't really sure what to expect, and then kind of to expand what everybody knows, you know, into that whole kind of realm with orchestra. I heard a lot of people say, you know, that's the only way that they want to go to a Boyz II Men concert now is, you know, if they hear them with orchestra. So
for sure.
And I think they're still touring and doing some of that. Probably another one of those, you know, kind of amazing concerts that I'll remember always is 4th of July a couple years ago, when they reopened the Arch and the orchestra got a chance to do a concert on the 4th of July under the Arch, and to get a chance to conduct, you know, an all-American music program with some great musicians and Debbie Lennon as our soloist. I mean, that was people are still talking about that concert. So
yeah, I can imagine the energy that you feel when you're on stage with some kind of that going on. It's so different from everything else that you do.
Yeah. Well, and certainly one of the biggest audiences I have ever played to.
Fair.
And then, of course, to end that whole thing with with fireworks on the river afterwards. I mean, it was, you know, I can't say enough about it. So it was pretty exciting.
That's pretty magical. I love it. So what's your favorite part of what you do?
I love bringing music to the community, and that process is, you know, on a couple of levels. So, you know, as a conductor, I learn the music and decide what I want to do first, and then the first level of that is taking that to the chorus and teaching them. So you know, everybody's kind of experiencing the music, you know, as it unfolds. So introducing new music to them, and then in turn, you know, we get a couple of rehearsals, sometimes just one rehearsal with the orchestra. So that's the next level. Then we add the orchestra and introducing, you know, some new things to them that they may have never heard before. Some things even written by members of the chorus and things like that. And then, of course, finally, you know, that ultimate experience of getting people, you know, into Powell Hall and then experiencing it, you know, live with an audience and getting energy back from them that you just don't get. You know, we're at Powell Hall most every Monday night. I mean, we rehearse on stage in the hall, and so we get a little spoiled in being in that space. Yeah. But then it completely changes. You know, when you get a couple thousand people in there, then it's, you know, then it becomes it's kind of a living, breathing thing. Then, you know, the hall is a part of that experience. So I love that. I love the community aspect of what I do. Being a big time extrovert, these these last few weeks have been tough, and so building community with the singers and with the instrumentalists. I mean, that's just an important part of what I do.
So what kind of changes have you been having to do with coronavirus?
Well,
It
of
stops
course,
everything.
the hardest changes have been, as you would imagine, we were not really mid-season for the chorus. We were, working up toward our last concert, but it's really the first time that I can remember that we've just had to stop. I mean, and I think most people were really in disbelief for a couple of weeks, because our final concert of the season was supposed to happen last night. I mean, we were right up to the last concert. So we were, getting familiar with the music and rehearsing really hard. This one was going to be a guest conductor coming in. And so just to abruptly end that, with I mean, 1 week we were together and then the next week we weren't, because the stay at home ordinance came down. And then 2 weeks later, it's like, okay, this doesn't look like it's going to happen. So I think it was the loss, combined with just the abruptness of everything. So that's been tough. The orchestra as a whole, of course, has had a lot of cancellations of subscription concerts and special things and movies and all that sort of stuff. So everybody's kind of been mourning the loss of all of that activity that people were looking forward to, and the way to culminate the season. This is the time that we're kind of wrapping up with the final concerts and big celebrations to celebrate another great season. So mourning the loss of that, and then figuring out, okay, so then what's next? What do we do? So trying to figure all those things out. Of course, some concerts just can't be replicated, so those won't happen. The one that we were to do last night, I suppose we could reschedule it again and work toward bringing the same guest conductor in, and that's not impossible to do. But I think right now we're just trying to, first of all, anticipate when things will be back to whatever normal is, and then how we can be a part of that. When it all cranks up again. So what things we can salvage, what things we can reschedule, that kind of thing. So.
Well, what kind of things can fans, audiences, those of us in the public, what can we do that would support throughout this time?
Well, the St. Louis Symphony website is that they're really on top of things there. So I think it's slso.org, or you can do stlouissymphony.org. It'll all lead you to the same place. But so being on deck with checking out the website and understanding, kind of what's going on there. For anybody who's had tickets to things, just stay tuned for if things are going to be rescheduled. What's been wonderful is there've been a large percentage of people who have, instead of asking for a refund for tickets, they've donated that money just directly to the symphony, which has been really cool to see. So encouraging people to continue to do that, and just staying in touch with what's going on. In the interim, the orchestra's trying to do some things to reach the community, but some live at Powell, sort of our pops ends of things with some specialty concerts, tribute concerts, and things like that. We're right now in the process of trying to figure, are those things that we can reschedule for later in the summer. For instance, what we're going to do in May and June, can those be done in July and August? So really trying to figure out the best plan forward. But not knowing what forward is, so it's really kind of weird, yeah.
And that's such an unknown of knowing when it's going to be over, if it's going to be over, what extent that's going to be. There's just no way of planning ahead on that. I feel like,
yeah, yes,
that's really hard.
One of the things I think that at least within Unison Chorus and also my church choir, one of the kind of biggest bummers, and of course in all of this, I mean, people's health and safety and life and livelihood of course is the most important. But we were also supposed to be gearing up right now for a trip to Spain. We were to leave to go to Spain on June 13th. and so that's been another part of that loss. Not just the end of the concert season, but this big trip that people have been saving up for and planning for a year and a half, and of course now that trip is off, may be rescheduled for a future time. But so there's there are a lot of pieces, and like I said again, a lot of loss that people are feeling right now.
I'd imagine that all of the singers and everyone in that community, you become a family.
Right.
Have you noticed are you guys doing anything to keep those relationships strong, and as everyone pulled together?
We are on both sides of the coin for me, for church and for the symphony. We're trying to do some new and creative things with the church. Of course, doing as many Facebook Live things as we can, and I'm in contact with the choir once a week. Just kind of doing a check-in, and sometimes I sing, and sometimes we sing together. Do goofy things like that. The virtual choir stuff, which is so popular right now, is so tough to do, just on the fly. I think people don't realize that with some of these virtual concerts and things that they're seeing, the production value is really high. So they've been working on this for months and months with professionals and professional sound and editing and all those kinds of things. And so it's kind of tough to just say to 130 people, okay, get on Facebook Live and let's sing.
Right.
Doesn't
quite be the same effect.
Yeah. No, nobody wants to hear that. So, so we've been trying to do some of those things. On the symphony side, there've been really some cool stuff. With the chorus, we've not been able to do much, just trying to figure that out. Since our concert was to be last night, I'm going to do some stuff with Facebook Live tonight, just to check in, to just say hey, and I know everybody's kind of bummed that the concert didn't happen, but kind of get them revved up for next season. I'm already planning music for Christmas and for Black History, which comes in February. So that's been the benefit of this downtime, is to do some planning. But also,
are you going to give us any hints on any of those? Anything?
Well, at this point, there really isn't much to let out of the bag,
Okay.
because we're still negotiating with some artists and stuff, but in negotiations with some really cool people. I know we still have your list. We know what it is. We know what you want to see. So we've talked about that, but waiting to kind of see, and with that piece, it's of course now artists being able to be in touch with their management, and it's just a weird time, because it's kind of hard to be in contact with people. So we're moving slow and trying to get that taken care of. But on the orchestra musician side, there've just been really cool things going on. Stuff on the symphony website of Musicians Playground, where they've shown other clips of concerts and kids encountering music. There's a big education arm of the symphony, and so a lot of that stuff they're sharing. Some of the symphony musicians have been doing front porch concerts. One of my good friends, Felicia Folland, who's the principal, one of the bassoonists with the orchestra, just set up on her front porch and just sat out with her bassoon and played for a half hour. And the word got out, and so the next one I think she's showing her front yard, and her neighbors come and they bring lawn chairs and they just sit. And so it's just really cool to see how people are being creative. They're learning how to do things new. So posting cool videos of musicians and stuff. So there's a lot happening.
Absolutely. Well, I think that through all of this, there's so much unknown, but I think one of the best things that we were all realizing even more than ever is that the arts are truly what is getting us through this. I mean, we're all watching Netflix, we're watching any type of recording we can, even you're seeing these big concerts like Lady Gaga put on, of everyone just performing at home, and how comforting that is and how important that is. So I hope that as we climb our way out of this, that people remember that, and they do show that support, and they do get really excited about being there for them.
Yeah. Well, and this is that time. It's easy to talk about all the bad things that have happened during the pandemic, but there have been some good things that have come out of that. First of all, people have used ingenuity and have gotten really creative in a lot of ways. You and I talked about our friend Jennifer, who's recreating art at home with her own pictures and things. But people are looking, finding new ways that they can reach out. and discovering how important that music is. I mean, as a lot of people, go jumping onto YouTube and looking at clips and seeing all the things. I'm Facebook friends with Michael McDonald, and the first week of the pandemic, he did a recording, just him. This is Michael McDonald in his music room at home, his guitars and his awards hanging on the wall, and he's at the keyboard singing, what the world needs now is love. And after I spent about 30 minutes just sobbing uncontrollably, just realized how important that kind of stuff is. It's really cool. People are learning how to support each other and how to lift up each other through their art. So it's cool.
It also gives so many of us such an intimate approach to these artists.
Right.
We're able to see behind the scenes. Yes, you can put on a beautiful production on the stage, but it's really cool when you get to know that person a little more personally. And so seeing them in their home, seeing them just playing some acoustic music or just singing with family and stuff like that, that means so much. And I think that's building those relationships that are going to really last afterwards. I think it's really cool. So you're getting a lot of people that may not be able to have those experiences. I mean, we can't all fly to New York every week and see a Broadway show, but now we're able to see some of these Broadway stars that are just doing truly incredible performances from their home right now. So it's really neat seeing what people are creating. That's been something really fun.
Awesome.
All right, Kevin. Well, I appreciate all of your time today. I know you're a busy man and you have lots more planning to do, and I can't wait to hear about the Black History Month performer. All right, you're one of my all-time favorites, and I appreciate you being here today. So I hope to look forward to talking to you in the future and seeing you soon.
Thanks for reaching out.
Thanks, Kevin.
See you.